everyone. It's Wednesday, it's hump day, we're in the middle of the week. We're trying to get some dinner ready tonight. I have some butternut squash vegan mac and cheese, which means yes, there is absolutely no dairy in this, and absolutely no cheese, and still just as nutritious and wonderful and yummy, and my kids love it, so let's go ahead and get to work. I have a pot of boiling water right here, and we're just simply going to salt it, because it's very important to salt your water before you put your pasta in. And we have ourselves some awesome protein pasta. Chickpea, by the way. There is 25 grams of pure plant protein. And I've got these little rigatonis right here. They're super cute, super curly. You can use whatever noodle you want. I prefer using more of a protein noodle though, because it gives my kids extra protein and everything, of course. And it's chickpeas, so they're really good for you. And as you can tell, I love mason jars. I keep all of my pastas, my brown rice, my quinoa, everything in these wonderful jars. I have the big jars, the medium-sized jars, and little jars. I use the smaller jars for my veggie broth, or if I'm canning or anything like that. It's awesome. By the way, I did get more hair color in, yes. I have purple. I have fibromyalgia, and the color for fibro is purple, so we're doing purple this month. So anyways, we've got some pasta going over here with some salted water. Very important to salt your water because it is going to flavor your pasta. Alright, so for the side dish today, asparagus. Best thing to do whenever you're cutting asparagus, snap the end off, figure out where the best place is, and that is going to be your guideline for where to cut, and it's just simple. That's how you know where you need to cut for your asparagus. And I've got a big bushel of asparagus over here. Just going to cut the ends off. Just like that. It's like a little bouquet. It's so cute. And we're just going to line them up on the sheet. I'm going to turn the camera so you can see the rest of this. Alright? And just going to kind of line them up like this. This is my daughter Arabella's favorite vegetable, by the way. She is absolutely in love with asparagus. I have been doing cooking with her since she was 18 months old, and she's been in the kitchen with me ever since then. She loves cooking with me. And we are going to be roasting this without any olive oil, so this is a Forks Over Knives approved dish right here. My favorite thing to do with asparagus, lemon zest and lemon juice. Makes for a very bright and colorful, very tangy, very springy dish. And we're going to do the whole entire lemon. I love my little grater here. My mother-in-law is absolutely wonderful. She gets me kitchen gadgets every year for Christmas or for my birthday. So I have about 12 years of a whole bunch of kitchen gadgets that she has given me. She's the reason why I've been able to adapt to this cooking class so well, by the way, which I am almost finished with. We're just going to scrape the end off. Finish doing the rest of that. I'm going to cut this lemon over here. Best way to do lemon, if you do not have one of those awesome little squeezers, and I do, I'm showing you how to do this without one. You take your hand and you just kind of grasp, make sure that those little seeds aren't going anywhere. And you're just going to juice as much of that lemon as possible on top of the asparagus. And yes, this is without oil, by the way. No oil. The juice of the lemon is going to do all of the work for you. We're going to do the whole lemon. I love asparagus, especially in the springtime and summer. And I love it roasted in the oven. I cannot stand it blanched or steamed or anything like that. It does not work for me. But I love it roasted in the oven. Makes it absolutely wonderful. We're going to add some pepper. Roasting in the oven really brings out the sweetness of any vegetable. It's kind of like I know some of you have seen those cooking shows on Food Network where they'll grill a peach or a pineapple on the grill. It really brings out the sweetness in the fruit. Same thing happens with vegetables whenever you grill them or roast them in the oven. It really brings out the sweetness. Oh, almost forgot. We need salt. Just a little bit of salt, a little bit of flavor. I use a pink Himalayan salt. You can use whatever you like. I just stay away from the table-ized salt because there's too many additives in it. And we've got this awesome little tray of asparagus. And now, let's get down to the mac and cheese. Here we go. So, I've roasted this beautiful butternut squash, as you can tell, because roasting is better. Everything is better whenever it's roasted. At least that's what I say. You know how Paula Deen always says, everything's better with butter? I say everything's better with roasting. And we're just going to take, I've let this cool off, by the way. I roasted in the oven for about 30 to 45 minutes. And we are just going to take the skin and peel it right off. Sometimes it comes right off, sometimes it needs a little help from a butter knife. But I've let it cool off all the way because I want to get my fingers in there. And I don't want to burn myself while doing this. Beautiful butternut squash. And you can use a sweet potato if you'd rather have a sweet potato. You can use an acorn squash, anything like that. I prefer the butternut squash though because of its sweetness. And like I said, my kids love this mac and cheese. They really do. Even my youngest daughter, who is very picky, by the way, very picky about anything that she eats, will gobble this right up. All because of the butternut squash. But like I said, sweet potato does good too. I've done it with sweet potato before. I've done it with Japanese sweet potatoes, which are white, by the way. Had no idea about that. My husband brought home some Japanese sweet potatoes, and I absolutely loved them. They were kind of like a mix between a carrot and a sweet potato. They had the texture of a carrot, but the sweetness of a sweet potato. It was really good. It was really good. I did not do that in the mac and cheese, though. We ate those for breakfast, actually. All right. There's our first half. And yes, we're going to use the whole thing. Get the lid off of that. Stick the whole thing in there. And again, I roasted it without olive oil. I just put a couple of tablespoons of veggie broth, and then I added some salt and pepper on top, popped it in the oven for about 45 minutes, let it cool down completely because you don't want to burn your skin. And like I said, sometimes the skin comes right off, sometimes it does need a little bit of help. Just like that. And I do the same thing with my sweet potatoes, by the way. I let them go in the oven, and then I cool them on the side, let them cool off all the way. And then I take a butter knife, and I just kind of peel away the peel and pop it in the food processor or blender, whichever you have. I have a food processor because my mother-in-law got me one. We're just going to kind of squish that around in there. Now, depending on how big your butternut squash is depending on how much almond milk you're actually going to use. That is the only liquid that is going in this. There's no flour in this, by the way. None whatsoever. The butternut squash is going to do that all for you, so you don't have to cook a roux or anything like that on top of the stove. I just totally saved myself a whole bunch of time by doing that. We got some pepper. And we've got about 4 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. There is a lot of protein in nutritional yeast, by the way. This is going to be a very protein-packed meal for tonight. We got some onion and garlic powder, about 2 teaspoons of each. And then, of course, my favorite little tidbit. If you have fibromyalgia or any other kind of autoimmune disease, you know that inflammatory issues are a big problem for people like us. And turmeric is very much an anti-inflammatory thing. So we're going to pop 2 teaspoons of turmeric in there, plus it kind of goes with the yellow, makes it a little bit more yellow. Now, here's a little trick. I keep the ends of my bread in the freezer, okay? And this is how I make my breadcrumbs. I cube them up and I put them on a tray and I toast them in the oven about once a month. I do this. And then I pop them in my food processor and I blend them up and voila. Well, that's what's left. I obviously have to do another round. So we've got some breadcrumbs. We're going to add some almond milk. We're going to add about 1/4 of a cup and see where it takes us for now. Oh, and some salt. Cannot forget to salt. Pop the lid on that. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and add the rest. So I added about 1/4 of a cup at first. Now I'm adding about another 1/4 of a cup of almond milk. And just like that, we got our sauce. It's awesome. And just like that, our noodles are done, which means I need my colander. And again, I've got us some protein-packed noodles. Chickpea noodles, 25 grams of plant-based protein right here. Just in the noodles themselves. It's awesome. I go to Costco, by the way. Love me some Costco. All right. Shake off the rest of that excess water. Those are beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, so we're going to get ourselves a pan. And I just use a little 18 by 18 inch pan. I am a big Ray Dunn fan, by the way. Love me some Ray Dunn. We're just going to take our noodles, pop them in the dish. No need to use another bowl. I'm trying to save dishes. And just like, oh my gosh, it smells so good. It smells divine. This is the texture that you're looking for, by the way. Not too thick, not too thin, just like that. Beautiful, healthy mac and cheese, guys. mac and cheese. And we're just going to kind of stir this up a little bit. Get that butternut squash all over them noodles. Beautiful sauce. Absolutely gorgeous. And it's yellow because the turmeric. Turmeric helps make it look more like a mac and cheese. And it tastes good too, by the way. Love me some turmeric. Anti-inflammatory power. I love drinking some turmeric milk at night to help me sleep. Really helps me go to sleep instead of having to take like some kind of medication or something like that. I prefer to stay off medications as much as possible. Now obviously there are some people in fibromyalgia that need it. I try to stay away from it and I use plant-based power. Alright, we're going to take ourselves our lovely little array of breadcrumbs and we're going to kind of go over the top just like that. And guess what? I'm a big fan of Aldi too. Love me some Aldi. They have vegan cheese. It's made with coconut milk. Who knew, right? Vegan cheese. Gonna top that right there. I'm not gonna use the whole bag, just a little bit. Just enough to give it some good crumbles on top. And here we go with some more breadcrumbs because we like ourselves crunchiness on top. Crunchy mac and cheese. So good. By the way, my bread, it has 21 whole grains. 21 whole grains, and you can see the whole grains. I'm going to give you a picture of this. I get it at Costco. Let me get you a good one. You can see the flaxseed in it and the oats and everything. It's awesome. It's got pumpkin seeds in there too, though.